I'm sure that you've seen the study that shows that if you come off of a GLP-1, you just gain all the way back. I know I did. And it prompted me to go into research mode. And I found some really interesting information that you should hear and be thinking about on your weight loss journey. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss journey, and hopefully you'll subscribe and come along for the ride. So I've got a clip that I want to show you because it really beautifully sums up the information that I have been researching. Because like many people, I saw the study that came out that said if you come off of a GLP-1 medication, you're going to gain the weight back. And while that makes sense to me, because of years of dieting, right? When you come off the diet, you gain the weight back. But there's some interesting tidbits that I want you to take away from this video. So let's watch the clip and then let's talk about it.
I lost about a stone in weight. The reason I came off it was because it was hard.
It was hard.
In a simple word, it was difficult. And I don't know, I felt like I was fighting against something.
How long ago did you come off it? And the crucial piece of information I'm interested in is, have you gained any weight back?
45 days ago, none of your business. I'm joking. No, I gained so much weight back. I didn't just gain the stone I'd lost. I think I gained a little bit more back. I think I gained a stone and a bit back. I mean, I'm not in bad shape, but like for me, I went from being absolutely lean, like I'm ready for men's health, to being like, back to being like, you know, like, I'd say athletic now, but I gained back the weight I'd lost and more. So this is why I asked the question about the brain. My brain didn't seem to be on board with me. It didn't seem to want the best for us. And it seemed to want to return me back to my default base state.
Your brain, everyone's brain, hates it when they lose weight. It doesn't matter your starting point. You could start from a point where you are athletic versus someone who's not athletic, couch potato type phenotype. The moment you lose a little bit of weight, we're talking even a few pounds. I'm not even talking, you're talking about a stone. Even if you lost 5 pounds, what happens in your brain is your brain is used to you or me carrying a certain amount of weight. The moment your weight starts to go down as an adult, it goes, hey, this is a big flag comes up. This is reducing my chance of survival. This is what the brain thinks. And so what it does is it begins to use strategies, not conscious, nothing to do with our brain, anything like that, to drag us back up, kicking and screaming to where we were before. First of all, it makes us hungry. Okay, so it makes us hungry, and second, it actually very, very secretively lowers your metabolism ever so slightly, so that even eating exactly the same thing, you are now storing more than you're burning. Even eating exactly the same thing, part of the strategy to get you back up to where you were before. So once you were on that keto diet, and we can debate talk about how it works and whether it's useful, but once you're on the diet, your weight goes off, you're able to keep it, but you say, man, I can't do this. And so you stop. And the moment you stop, your brain comes back on and starts dragging you back up. This is going to be true for pretty much every single diet that is out there. The moment you stop the diet, the weight will come back on eventually.
Why does my brain hate me?
Look, this is the brain. You have to remember that's what's kept us alive. I mean, we have lived, aside from probably the last 40 years, we probably most of the time never had enough food. Now, clearly, over the past 100 years, we've had sufficient food compared to beyond that. But you know as well as I do, when you turn on the TV and watch Only Fools and Horses from the 70s or whatever, people are all skinny. They think, oh no, they don't look skinny. They don't look skinny. They look normal weight for the time that they're there. Whereas we have clearly over the past 40 years now have too much food. So this is now a different problem. Okay, that we have too much food, and so our brain is trying to respond to this environment, but it's responding in a natural fashion. Because what used to happen was, because there was not enough food, when there was food there, you made sure you ate it. Otherwise, why would you not do that, right? So we have a brain that's wired for a feast-famine environment. feast, famine, feast, famine. The problem is we live in a feast environment at the moment. And that's the issue. We have a maladapted brain for a feast environment.
So our bodies want to fight to get back to the place where it was happy, right? When it had all this stored energy and it wasn't in a calorie deficit, those were the good old days for your body. And it's really interesting to me because it further proves the point that obesity specialists are currently making, which I believe will be the next round of research, about why maintenance for 6 months to a year on a GLP-1 and then tapering off is going to be so important for individuals who want to come off of the medication, because your body needs time to reacclimate. Your body needs time to understand that you're not in a famine, right? But that it's also not a time of feast, right? You've got to get those calories down to your maintenance level and then eat at those maintenance calories for an extended period of time. For many of us, myself included, I mean, I've spent the majority of my life overweight, obese, morbidly obese, some variation thereof. So to undo 20, 30 years worth of your body being perfectly happy at a fluffy level, right? Like, that takes time. So I think that while doing a study showing that if people come off of your medication, they gain the weight back, is certainly useful, it really should be the precursor for the next round of studies, which is, okay, so if people just come off and they gain the weight back, what happens if we do maintenance? What happens if we taper off? What happens if we get the body to stabilize for a year before doing anything, right? That should really be the next round of studies, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. But while I believe that that is important information, I don't think that we'll get that kind of research until these other GLP-1s hit the market and force the cost down on the GLP-1s that we currently have. Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy. I think that until there is that additional layer of pressure, I don't think we're going to see anything that is specifically about maintenance or specifically about coming off of the medications. Because, and this goes back to my video where I talk about, reading these studies and then extrapolating the information and applying it to your own life, because you're just looking at one piece of an entire puzzle. You have to look at all the pieces, and then you have to put all the pieces together. So that's why I really hate for people to panic, right? And I see so many new people getting on Wegovy and Zepbound, and they're like, my doctor didn't tell me this is a lifelong medication, or my doctor is only willing to prescribe it for 8 months, or my insurance company is only allowing me to be on it for 8 months, which is the latest one I've seen, right? Or I have to lose a certain amount of weight every month, otherwise they take me off of it, right? Like, all of this additional pressure, because doctors don't want to deal with it. Insurance companies don't want to pay for it. And the patients are just left going, guys, I just want to be healthy. I just want to be happy. I just want to have energy. I just want to live a long life for my family, for my children, for, for my spouse, like all of these things. So until there's that additional layer of pressure, I don't think that we're going to get the specifics that we really need at this point, because many people have been on GLP-1s for many years at this point. So now is a great time for them to come out with, hey, this is the maintenance schedule. Hey, if you want to try to come off, this is what you need to do. But they're not going to do that right now, because right now that would hurt their bottom line. Right now, they want everyone, regardless of their condition, regardless of their reasoning for getting on these medications, they want everyone to glom on to this concept of obesity is a disease. I can't come off this medication because I'm going to gain all the weight back. And I'm not saying that obesity is not a disease. Please don't misunderstand me. What I'm saying is they want people to be scared to come off the medication, because the longer you're on the medication, the more money they make. Now, it's not to say that people with diabetes or Hashimoto's or, any number of PCOS, right? Any number of these conditions. I'm not saying it's not a lifelong med, right? Just like with any other condition that requires lifelong treatment. But we really need to start looking at options for people who don't have to stay on this medication for life. And they're out there. They're out there and they're doing it. And sadly, many of them, because they've reached their goal weight, they've maintained for a year or two, they're no longer in the support groups because they're not on the medication anymore. They're just out there living their happy life. And every chance that I get to speak with somebody who is, in that position where they've already reached their goal weight, they are already, doing a process for maintenance, they're having success, they're keeping the weight off, right? Every chance I get, I talk to those people to see what they're doing. What conditions did you have when you started? How much weight did you have to lose? And everybody is so vastly different. It really is an individual experience. So please don't misunderstand me. I'm not making this video to try to say that everybody should be able to get off these medications. Sadly, that's not going to be the case for a lot of people. But there is a good portion of them that could, with the correct direction. And right now, we really just don't have that. We just have what we have, which is partial information and obesity. Obesity specialists doing the best they can with the information that they have, that they're seeing in their practices. So I look forward to more research studies, to more information becoming available. And I think that as time goes on and more pressure is put on these insurance companies to cover GLP-1s for an extended period of time, and more GLP-1s come on the market and drive the prices down, right? I think that we're going to find that people are more willing to experiment with potentially coming off of these medications. We'll just have to see how it goes. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Make sure you check out my other videos where I talk about tips, tricks, research, shortages, you name it. Kevin and I talk about it. Kevin, what's going on with your ear? Kevin, what? What's happening with your ear? It's got a mind of its own. Okay, we'll have to fix that. What happened? All right, let's fix it. Okay, how you look now? Oh, it's so much better. Good boy. Make sure you check out my other videos. If you're looking for a positive only support group, I've got you covered. Link is in the description box below. And as always, be kind. Rewind.